Life as a medieval king sucked. People often think that being a medieval king meant living in luxury, eating delicious feasts, and wearing golden crowns all day. But the truth is, life as a medieval king sucked. Yes, really. Let's start with the castle itself. Castles were cold, dark, and damp. Even the biggest stone walls could not keep out the chilly wind. There were no heaters or electric lights. If you were lucky, you had a big fireplace. But the smoke often filled the room and made your eyes burn. The beds were not comfortable either. A king might have a bed that looked fancy, with curtains and carvings, but it was basically a wooden frame with a lumpy mattress stuffed with straw or old feathers. If you were thinking about clean sheets, forget it. Changing bedding was rare, and bugs liked to live in the mattress with you. Every day, the king had to listen to complaints from lords, knights, and peasants. People lined up to beg for money, land, or favors, could never just rest or take a day off. Even when you were sick, you still had to sit on a hard throne for hours, while people argued about whose cow belonged to whom. And speaking of sickness, there were no antibiotics. If you got a fever or an infected wound, you had to hope the village healer could help. The treatments were usually herbs, prayers, or cutting you open to let the bad blood out. Most of the time, this didn't work. Even meals were not as great as people imagine. Sure, there was meat and bread, but the food was often overcooked or stale. Spices were expensive, so only the richest kings tasted anything other than salt. Drinking water was unsafe, so you drank weak beer all day. That sounds fun until you realize it made people tired and dehydrated. Privacy didn't exist. Servants and guards were always around, watching you eat, dress, or even use the bathroom. If you wanted to travel anywhere, you needed dozens of people to come along: cooks, guards, advisors, stable boys, and it took forever to get ready. War was another problem. As king, you were expected to lead armies. This meant putting on heavy armor that weighed as much as a large dog and sitting on a horse for days. The battles were brutal, and even if you survived, you could catch infections from small wounds. When you finally returned to your drafty castle, there were more meetings, more complaints, and more responsibilities waiting. No matter how rich you were, you couldn't escape the endless work and the cold stone walls. So yes, life as a medieval king sounded glamorous in legends, but in reality, it mostly sucked.